who should I put as my sponsor on my I-20? Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about one of the most common questions I get from F1 applicants who are going to study in the United States, and that is, who should I put as my sponsor on my I-20? And I'll go into that and who you should put, but more importantly, the first question they need to ask themselves is this a highlight or a hurdle for my case? So a highlight is something you want to talk about with the visa officer because it will show that you have really strong ties to your home country. And a hurdle is something that you have to answer truthfully about, but want to emphasize other parts of your case on. So if you have a parent who's the wealthiest person in your country, then it should be pretty obvious to the officer that you're not going to have any problems financially in the United States. But if your sponsor is a distant relative or a distant family friend who is not making a lot of money and would have to liquidate all of their assets just to pay for your first year of school, then that can lead to some very serious questions about whether you'll actually be able to afford your course of study or whether you'll have to resort to unauthorized work in the United States. People often also worry about how much detail should they go into about their sponsor, because the very common question is, who is your sponsor? Which leads to the natural response, which would just be, my mom is my sponsor, or a family friend is my sponsor. That may be true, but it doesn't give the officer the additional context they need to be able to say, I believe that this person can finish their course of study with the existing sponsor. The other question we get a lot is, what documents should I bring for my sponsor? And the truthful answer is it's really unlikely that the officer is going to look at any documents. However, they sometimes do. And what you want to show is that your sponsor's financial situation is good. So it could depend on your country, but pretty oftentimes it'd be a bank statement, a certificate of deposit, something from another financial institution, whether it's the stock market or a mortgage company, or something that shows that this person's finances are such that they can afford to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 per year paying for your education in the United States. Don't rely on those documents. Be willing to just answer questions about the person's financial situation, but you've got to know about it, right? If the officer asks you how much this will cost and how much your sponsor is willing to pay, and you just say, I don't know, it doesn't show that you're really seriously considering the consequences of your going to study in the United States. Another question we often get is it bad to have a loan listed on my I-20? Because the visa officer only has about 3 minutes to investigate you, research you, and try to make a decision about whether you are at risk of staying in the United States or not. Whereas a loan officer presumably will spend much more time interviewing you, looking for collateral, looking at your family's finances or your sponsor's finances and your future prospects with this degree in your home country to make an assessment of how risky is it to give this person a loan. And then they're putting their own money into it. So I view loans as positive, but they can be negative if you aren't able to talk about it and it's obvious to the officer that you're just thinking about, yes, I have this loan, so it will be paid for the school, but you're not thinking about the repayment of the loan. Now, if you have questions about any details about this, please book a consultation with Argo where we can go over your personal details, and a former visa officer like myself can help you determine what are the best things that I can say about my sponsor and what are the documents that I need to bring. How can I present this case to the visa officer in a way that's clear, that they'll understand, and will most likely lead to the issuance of my student visa. That's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for listening. I hope that helped you figure out how to talk about your sponsor at your student visa interview.
Don't leave your visa interview to chance. Meet with a former visa officer to get the insights and preparation you need to pass your U.S. visa interview.